Anyway, made by ex Ubisoft employees. Yeah, I know. All right, so that was what I wanted to reveal to you guys. Woke up early in the morning, had a bunch of interviews that I did. I was on the I've Had It Ladies podcast. Obviously, I've Had It podcast. I gave some quotes to another outlet as well. Another 20K in the books, 220K, 40K in the books, 40K down the drain. You already know what it is. But yeah, that's what I was doing. That's what I was predisposed with. And then, of course, as soon as I woke up this morning, I found out that the GQ piece was out. Now, it's kind of funny because I made fun of Travis Kelce yesterday. I had just made fun of Travis Kelce yesterday about his wet, nude photo shoot that he did for GQ. Turns out I was on that same issue. Yours is also goofy as fuck, but also so hot. Bro, they did you fucking dirty. I wish that the GQ piece was actually had like my books, my choice books on here, because like there is editorial control on stuff like that. Rage Bait final boss, Hasan Piker and Zoran Mamdani. Big Z is the man. He's great. He's going to implement woke Sharia in New York. Very excited about that. All the buildings have to face Mecca. That kind of good stuff. Bro, the interview part of the article is fucking weird. I think a lot of you guys are not familiar with journalists and how journalists behave. And that's the reason why you guys are freaking out over the interview, because most of the time when I actually say yes to any kind of profile, I usually only work with journalists that I know ahead of time. And this was one of the instances where I just didn't even do my due diligence at all. But he was a regular ass journalist. And that is how regular ass journalists do pieces like this. It's not always going to be, you know, all I'm saying is it's not going to be the way you expect it to. That's it. And he's a great writer. The dude actually is a great writer, but he's also a classic. He's just a journalist. That's how it is. Okay. That's how GQ is kind of too. It's a men's magazine. Yeah. It was not a hit piece at all. I don't know why you guys are saying that. Don't be weird. It was not. And it's interesting because like some people don't understand. Some people don't understand that like how these kinds of like editorial decisions come together. But it's fine. I'm not upset with it. And you guys shouldn't be either. I like that you had a rubber ducky with you in the bath. Yeah, I'll put that in there. But in any case, we'll get into that, obviously. I'll just blast off first and foremost, and then we'll dive into it. But yeah, I woke up to reading the article. I enjoyed it, and I think it's not a bad look at all. But yeah, there are certain aspects of it that I'll get to when we get to that piece in the article, where it's like there are certain boundaries that you set before an interview, and a journalist always has the opportunity not to abide by the boundaries that you set, and it happens. Yeah, I'm an adult, and it's fine. You know, everybody needs to fucking calm down. All right. Is it in print asking for my mom? Yes. I think so. But yeah, this is not a hit piece by any measure, by any means whatsoever. I think y'all are y'all are expecting every article to to come across like it's just only going to be fucking cheery. Okay? All my Live family members thought it was funny. Yeah, I think it was a great article overall. I think it like humanizes me. And I think it's just it's a profile. It's supposed to be a profile for GQ. It's going to read very differently than like New York Times style magazine. You know what I mean? New York Times like style section is GQ. No, man, journalists abide by off the record rules unless it was a bit scummy. Okay, it's fine. Let's continue. Let's blast off and let's do it. Okay. My GQ piece is out. Drama. Trump x Putin. Lovers to fighters arc. Israel. Everyone hates Israel. I think it's because it came off very irreverent rather than neutral, so it can seem worse than it actually is. It's not. I think you guys are reading far too much into it, and you're wrong. And I'll explain why. I'll go through the article in a second. But it's great. Anyway, my GQ piece is out. Drama. Trump, Putin, lovers of fighters arc. Everyone hates Israel. Tariff time. Fun reacts. Impossible gaming. Get in now. Okay. I'm curious if you'd be interested in working with No Olympics. We'd love the support and eyes on our work. Yes, I'm all on board with the No Olympics movement. You need to address this. What happened with Austin? What happened? That you guys are constantly fucking spamming this shit. What? He's mad about the tub? Okay. Well, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you pay to be in the tub, you know? In this instance, I paid to be in the tub. Oh, shit. Okay. All right. How dare you be in the tub with that Austin show? I know. Was it the usual 20K this time? No, it's more 40K this time. Well, I mean, I make a reference to it in the article. I said I paid $7 million. I wanted to give like a number that was so insane. And I think like my haters would probably still run with that as though it's like sincere and not me like obviously joking. Bidenflation. Yeah, Trumpflation got me. Articles that used to be... In my opinion, the GQ article bookends really well with the NPR piece from the other day. They're both something you can point to normie libs if they have questions about Hasan, the terrorist supporting guy. Exactly. Exactly. Precisely. That is the whole point. A lot of these articles are just like terrorism insurance. Remember that. Okay? This is something you can show your parents. This is something you show like fucking insane haters and whatnot. So stop ducking the tub with Austin. More people see the GQ result with the Austin show. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm pumping the Austin show tub stocks by doing tubs. By doing tub content before I do the Austin show tub content. You should have let the mustache go wild. Have you read it? It was terrible. No, it wasn't. It was not terrible at all. You guys are, again, being too parasocial, I think. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started on it. All right. Well, first, let's look at the Austin react.
This article because I just don't know what I did to deserve this treatment. But he will get in every single bathtub. Every single bathtub except my own. He got in every single bathtub but my own.
Yeah, you need to pay me $20K to get me in the tub in the same way that I'm paying $20K to get in the tub to be in Gentleman's Quarterly. For those of you who don't know, GQ is a Rolling Stone style magazine that does like profile pieces, interviews, things of that nature. Okay. And after they had profiled the millennial Jon Stewart, Adam Friedland, they reached out to me as well and were like, well, we got to do the millennial Joe Rogan of the left, HasanAbi Piker. And I, of course, said, fuck yeah. I mean, GQ is a big deal. This is a magazine that I read in Turkey, right? And I was very excited at the opportunity, and I took it. And I think that from what I understand, they were first and foremost predisposed with like the photo shoot, and then they slapped the interview onto it afterwards. And I think the photos came out really great. So I am excited about that. So when they hit me up, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm down to do it. And yeah, the article came out perfectly fine. The photos came out great. I am very happy with the process. So we're going to start over here. Hasan Piker thinks America might be cooked. Now, before we get into it, yeah, this is my couch, yes. It's a fake cloud couch. It's not a real cloud couch that we got for like, my mom got this couch for, I think, like $1,000. And the real version of this is like $20,000. And she got it off like, it was like refurbished. It was fake. It's like a Temu ass sectional fake cloud couch. Way back in the day. It's very comfortable. Was it Gentlemanler 3 aylık or GQ? It's GQ. Wow, you look very hot in all the pics. Yeah. And let's get started. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. You know, I don't have I don't actually have a what do you call it? Like I have a say in how these photos work. Like I was at the mercy of the photographer, and I think she did a great job, and I'm very stoked on it. Okay, so the article starts with Hasan Piker thinks America might be cooked. Martial law, canceled elections. Wait, what the hell? I have to subscribe? What the frick? No. Okay, someone give me the archive. Oh, wait, never mind. It unlocked. Okay, I'm a hacker. Wait, never mind. It didn't unlock. Okay, it did unlock. Hacker, man. Wait, what? Why does it keep happening? Ah! That's strange. All right. uBlock origin, disable JavaScript. No, we're not going to do that. Hackerman, I'm in. Hackerman, I'm in. Hasan Piker thinks America might be cooked. Martial law, canceled elections. The combative leftist streamer Hasan Piker predicts an ominous possible future for the U.S. He's fighting back the only way he knows how, by raging against Trump, Israel, Democrats, and the wannabe bad boys of the manosphere, in between beefs with his ops and gym sessions with his boys. Articles by Kieran Press Reynolds. Photography by Molly Madeline. Okay? So, how do you know that tune? I started playing Expedition 33, and it's fucking awesome. Okay. Here's how Hasan Piker starts each day. Working out, shooting the shit. It's Monday, 8:30 a.m., and we're in the backyard of a house in West Hollywood where there's a makeshift private gym with benches, pull-down machines, and dumbbells galore. This is where the 34-year-old political influencer keeps his thirsted after body fit, joined by a few other neighborhood characters, including a guy who works on Pod Save America. His Bernie's beefcake, Kaya, tussles with a few other golden brown dogs. As Piker burns through a 70-minute workout, exhausting himself in the process, he strips his shirt off. An army of girls and gays, not to mention admiring looks maxers, would kill to be where I am now, next to Piker, as he pants in a pair of neon shorts with black Calvin Klein boxers poking out and the sunlight glinting off the sweat beaded on his chest hairs. I will say this. This dude's a great writer, okay? He's a little irreverent in his tone. And he does something in this article that is like a little bit of a no-no, but journalists do all the fucking time because they're under no obligation to listen to whoever the fuck they're profiling. He's young, but he's a great writer overall, and I think a lot of people will. I'll get to the parts where I think a lot of people will probably take issue with, but it's not a fucking hit piece at all. You guys are so stupid for thinking that. Anyway, Piker's trainers fib me out about how much he's bench pressing. 300 pounds, before the real number comes out, 175. His personal best is 285. The conversation among the 7 men and women grows increasingly unhinged. Jokes about semen retention exercises morphing into a discussion about which Hollywood plastic surgeon is least likely to kill you. The new meta is ballerina cups. Women only going for A to B to C cup max, Piker muses at one point. Meta is a gamer-derived term for state-of-the-art. Nick Fuentes is gay, he says at another, echoing a common attack on the far-right streamer. He definitely likes cowboy porn, he adds, referring to an infamous incident on one of Fuentes' streams, which we will not detail here. Groans, gossip, and athletic guidance fly from all angles. Good, Haas. Get taller. Face down. Ass up. Towards the end, Piker starts describing how a chicken wrap he's been loving recently is very fibrous and bottom-friendly, leading another gym goer to tease him about his diet. Have I been having anal sex? No, Piker responds. I've always had nice poops. What a way to enter the conversation. 175 was the beginning, okay? We were warming up. That's why it's 175 is what I was, is what I was pushing. I thought it was hilarious because it reminded me of the way my friends and I talk when we're over in our 40s. Travis Kelce, step aside. There's a new 6'4" hunk in town that's also wet. Piker has no filter. That's one reason he's the hottest left-wing political commentator online. His management team consists of one single guy named David. So he basically has no leash and answers to no one. Shouts out David. Shouts out to David, my manager, who is constantly responding to these inbound requests. I feel like this is a funny mention because it kind of shows that there is no like massive PR team or whatever the fuck people speculate. And it's just like outlets reaching out and then, my manager responding. Anyway, every day, tens of thousands of people watch him dissect the news for 7 hours on Twitch. A typical stream involves him scrolling frenetically while clicking on links sent by fans in his chat, reacting to the latest viral clips and headlines, dishing with his viewers, and viciously sparring with haters. America Deserved 9/11 is one of his most infamous wisecracks. When Rush Limbaugh died, Piker played a clip of a dancing crab in celebration and vigorously bounced around his room. Piker's one of a new breed of streamers like Aiden Ross and Sneeko who are shaping the worldview of kids who never watch MSNBC or read the New York Times. In this online mirror world, Piker is the himbo gateway drug, introducing a legion of kids to progressive ideals like Medicare for all. Now, the reason why a lot of people, I think, took offense to this is because of the mention of Aiden Ross and Sneeko, but those are, whether you recognize it or not, some of the most recognizable figures in the streaming space that engage with politics. To normies. So that's the only reason why he's bringing that up is because they are relevant names in this sphere, not because he's saying I'm ideologically aligned with Aiden Ross or Sneeko. So once again, don't get your panties all bunched up, chatters, okay? This is a normal way to describe this process, okay? And then there's Gaza. Young people across America are calling out what they see as Democratic politicians' complicity in a U.S.-backed war that is more and more widely being called a genocide as Palestinians starve. Republican support for the war has been taken as a given, although MAGA Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene has broken rank. Piker has opposed Israel's offensive since the start. It's the online arena where the most progressive but also most right-wing ideologies are taking hold now. In this unshackled world animated by constant beefs, Hasan is hated by both the right and center. He's a demigod and a demon, a crusader for good and a parasite on society, an empathetic hero and a so-called terrorist sympathizer. He claims the FBI might be surveilling him. Haters say they want him dead. As political experts sound alarms about authoritarianism, he's fighting back, one expletive and brain rot-filled live stream at a time. I mean, this guy's a great writer. I can't believe you guys thought this was a fucking hit piece. And also, this is one of the few instances in mainstream media where they are actively talking about my position on Gaza and my politics without like sheltering you from the truth. They're not just simply saying like Hasan is a Democrat and progressive and is, hot. They're not doing that. They just like the dude straight up put a lot of the things I said in there. So I'll take it. After the gym sessions, Piker, Kai, and I load back in his black Mercedes-Benz and drive to his place, a large townhouse with a Suzuki motorcycle in the front and a slender pool in the backyard. Piker dips for a second to freshen up, leaving me to explore the house. Fan art litters the walls and TVs, hats, Trump has 2020, Jesus is my boss, Korea veteran, and Zinn containers are scattered around. A set of shelves contain a slew of books, including Noam Chomsky's Profit Over People, Neoliberalism and Global Order, Tony Tulatume's Incel Epic Rejection, and numerous volumes of Marvel, Naruto, and Death Note manga and comics. He isn't beating the socialist who owns commodities allegations, but his house feels more like the product of a nerd who would write anime swords and free public transportation in his house does someone obsessed with luxury excess. Piker suggests we chill in his studio, which is even more chaotically cluttered than the rest of the house. There's a shelf stacked with rare World of Warcraft collectibles, a basketball, and a vinyl record of rapper Osama Sun's Jump Out. One corner contains a colossal Labubu doll encased in plastic. Behind it, there's a cutout of Bernie Sanders' classic diva pose at the inauguration, and a poster of Barack Obama with Queen Elizabeth II. Cameras and mics flank an intricate recording setup that could pass for the bank of security devices at a Westfield mall. Piker, who's put on a black merch t-shirt for the Shrimmer Valkyrie, sits across from me and slurps an iced coffee. As we talk, I sense that Piker wanted to hold the interview here so he could keep an eye on his screens. His stream doesn't start for an hour, but the chat's buzzing with fans impatiently waiting for him to log on. That's how fucking unbearable you guys are, by the way. That like you're so unbearable in the offline chat that a journalist peeks over at the active offline chat that and he sees all of you going, he's live. I'm baiting. He's live. I'm not baiting. He's actually live this time. Why isn't he live yet? And he sees that and he goes, wow, these guys are fucking insane. Okay. He's remarkably energized for a guy who just finished a punishing workout and spent the previous day playing basketball with influencer Ludwig Ogren and other friends. His team lost the first game, but came in clutch later on. I had to show these nerds what's up, he says with a laugh. By the way, for anyone looking to get buff and clutch games like him, here's Piker's supplement stack. 1 espresso shot, pre-workout, 4 creatine pills, fish oil, I don't eat seafood, zinc, ashwagandha, I don't know if it works, I just take it, minoxidil and finasteride. I'm technically on HRT, hormone replacement therapy. I have DHT blockers for hair loss that I've been taking for years now at this point. Zinc for the ropes? No, zinc is for sickness, no? I thought it was like for a healthy immune system. Is there a reason why you take creatine pills instead of the powder? Yes. And that is because I just don't mix it with anything. I just down it as pills. Piker grew up in Turkey, developing his leftist worldview against the backdrop of Prime Minister and eventual President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's regime. What is this silent G? That's funny. He moved to America, rushed to frat at Rutgers University, impressed girls, and nepo babied himself into working for his uncle, Cenk Uygur, who owned the left-wing news network The Young Turks. Piker went full-time streaming in 2020 and has since become the most popular political creator on Twitch with over 2.9 million followers. Bernie Sanders, AOC, and numerous other celebs have hopped on his stream. His work ethic is terrifying. In 2020, he claims he spent 42% of his time on camera, more than 10 hours a day. I'm an addict, he says. I've been an addict my whole life, so everything I do, I get addicted. Twitch streaming, working out, eating healthy. Piker describes his career as a protracted and so far largely unsuccessful effort to pull the Democrats to be more radical, to be actually progressive. This was my favorite paragraph in the entire article, by the way. Okay, I'm going to start it from the start. Piker describes his career as a protracted and so far largely unsuccessful effort to pull the Democrats to be more radical, to be actually progressive. While he's beloved by many leftists, he's often reviled by liberals, the centrists, whose views are largely reflected by the party leadership. This became especially clear after October 7 Hamas attack on Israel. You have a guy like me, name is Hasan, and I'm saying, no, you don't understand. Israel is still very much the responsible party for October 7, for like 75 years of brutal occupation and apartheid. And people were like, oh, you're a terrorist. And that really hasn't gone away. Last year, Democrats first invited him to and then ejected him from the Democratic National Convention after he interviewed some delegates who were part of the undecided group protesting Israel's war in Gaza. I just eat it from both ends in that issue, he says. You're getting hate from the far right, and you're getting it from the liberals and the centrists and the institutions. So you just have nothing. You only have your community. You only have your grassroots backing. But in recent weeks, with videos of starving Palestinian children flooding social media, more Democrats are speaking out about the war. Piker won't give them credit for that just yet. I'm used to Democrats operating in this incredibly cynical way, he says. So I'm not surprised by this about face, if you can even call it that. Many people aren't even doing an about face. They're mostly just ass covering. Piker's also quick to call out his peers in the manosphere, saying that social media is putrefied into a hate-filled hellscape, worse than the subculture that gave rise to Gamergate, the coordinated misogynistic attack on women in the video game world that was an ignition point for the modern reactionary right. Did I get rated? Why am I getting a shit ton of new followers right now? A lot of people are just... Happy majority report rate. Also, wear your max left hat during the next gen giving, if there is one. Oh, the majority report. Hope you had a good stream. Yeah. Hateful hellscape worse than the subculture that gave rise to Gamergate, the coordinated misogynistic attack on the women in the video game world that was an ignition point for the modern reactionary right. This rage chamber is thronged by far-right figures like Andrew Tate, white supremacists like Fuentes, and outwardly apolitical podcasters and streamers like Nelk Boys and Aiden Ross, who fawningly interviewed Trump ahead of the election in 2024. I call it vice signaling. These guys, whether they're real villains or not, are presenting themselves as bad people, and people like it, Piker says. Nobody likes cancel culture, but goddamn, that shit was keeping motherfuckers in check. Of course, Piker himself is an edgelord too, eager to breach taboos just on behalf of progressivism. For example, he proposes Nuremberg-style trials for those in the media who he sees as taking part in a propaganda apparatus for the state. He says he told the Nelk Boys straight up that they should be tried. But, Piker continues, there are far more consequential, far more noteworthy figures that deserve to be put on trial than like the fucking Nelk Boys. Specifically, he says, New York Times columnist Bret Stephens. Piker may be the product of an often irony-poisoned online space, but his defense of the Palestinians is pure and deeply felt, as it is among large swaths of Gen Z. So he was incensed when Stephens recently wrote that there is no genocide being committed by Israel. Literally 3 days after, like a Jewish-Israeli Holocaust scholar wrote a New York Times editorial saying it's definitely a genocide, Piker says. Bret Stephens came in hot and was like, no, actually, listen to me instead. On July 15th, Dr. Omer Bartov, a professor of Holocaust and Genocide Studies at Brown University, wrote a Times opinion piece headlined, I'm a genocide scholar. I know it when I see it. A Stephens column, No, Israel is not committing a genocide in Gaza, followed 1 week later. Piker may see mainstream media as propaganda, but he blames prominent online figures for actively suppressing criticism. He says many creators keep silent to avoid retribution. They're fearful of the mass doxing and hate raids they'll incur from some of the top content creators in the space right now. Piker is, for that reason, paranoid, and justifiably so. Sinking back into his chair, he says that years ago during a live stream, he was swatted. Someone had anonymously sent SWAT team to his house. He was arrested, handcuffed, had a gun pulled on me, helicopters, he recalls. I heard something going on outside, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? Is dudes with AR-15s going, get the fuck out? Piker, it was widely reported, was also recently detained by Border Patrol when he returned to America from France. He says he was interrogated about his politics, especially as they relate to President Trump and Gaza. Yeah, I mean, this was the first time I openly revealed. This was in many houses ago. So, you know. I said it. I said it in the interview. Long time ago. Of course, it's a constant issue for streamers. And I felt comfortable revealing this because it's been a long ass time. And also on top of that, many other streamers have also personally revealed their experiences, but it's a super common one. And I'll tell you this much. When I was in that 2-bedroom, for example, when I was away from the camera for extended periods of time, sometimes I wasn't cooking. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Obviously, you keep that shit a secret for obvious reasons. You keep that shit a secret for obvious reasons because, you know, sometimes the chair memes are not because I'm just away from camera for no good reason. Sometimes I'm the one getting cooked. Okay? Yeah, motherfuckers were like, wow, he's doing chair reacts. Meanwhile, I'm like fucking getting handcuffed and slammed to the fucking ground by cops, screaming at them, telling them do not enter the house because the cameras are on. And of course you don't, I've deliberately kept it a secret for a very long time because, and you will never see the cops because like, you don't want to give anybody the satisfaction. You don't want to give anybody the satisfaction of like knowingly doing this and succeeding in doing so. So yeah, of course, I ate it for years and years and years and kept it a secret for years and years and years. It's just a normal part of the process alongside death threats that I receive with regular frequency. Anyway, but there's a reason why many streamers keep that stuff a secret because it creates copycats. Anyway, the incident led him to cancel a trip to Cuba, fearing that it could be used as an example of him visiting a state sponsor of terror. He's certain he's being surveilled by government entities. I've had brushes with federal law enforcement, mostly around the death threats that I receive, Piker says. But in those conversations, they elaborate further. They're very knowledgeable about who I am and what I do. Is it the FBI? I cannot confirm nor deny, he demurs. It's so funny that it's like me talking about getting swatted, me talking about like death threats, me talking to members of law enforcement, allegedly the FBI, who knows? And then right underneath it is a picture of me naked in my bathtub with a rubber ducky. While he's unfiltered and earnest while streaming, Piker has managed to keep his off-stream activities secret, refusing to air out his private life with friends or paramours the way that many of his peers do. So when I first arrived at his home in the morning, I was surprised to find his mom, Ulker, an art scholar, just chilling in the living room. She complimented me on my shirt and asked what it referenced. When I told her Drain Gang, the experimental Swedish music collective, Piker went into hysterics. During our interview, I try to squeeze out whatever intel I can find about Piker's romantic life, which is feverishly gossiped about on Reddit. I asked point blank if he's dating Valkyrie, the massively popular gaming streamer, and he looks freaked out. Oh, come on. Please don't put that in the article, Piker says. For obvious reasons, there is a lot of speculation on all of the female peers that I have in this space that I regularly have on stream, that people who have incredibly parasocial bonds with content creators routinely speculate on whether I'm romantically involved with them or not. Obviously, I don't want any sort of hate going their way. I don't want the psychopathic haters to fucking go after these people, which is precisely why I will always spike when asked questions like this and say, I keep my private life private. Everybody knows I'm dating Austin. But it's there's a reason for it. Like I don't entertain this stuff at all And the reason is obvious, because people are incredibly fucking vicious. Oh, come on. Please don't put that in an article, Piker says. I just want to keep certain things private. I don't even want to fuel speculations. Think of me as an asexual being. He plans on settling down eventually. I mean, I literally told him. I told him straight up before the interview as well. I don't talk about my private life. If you ask me like even names or anything directly, I'm not going to answer it. And as he said, like, this is a common meta on Reddit, common speculation. But the reason why I will never confirm nor deny or just never confirm anything about my private life is because there are a lot of fucking active psychopaths who literally go after every person that's on the stream, but especially women, including Cutie Cinderella, who was in an open relationship with another content creator, Ludwig. People literally speculate on that and go after them and literally fucking constantly attack them viciously. Okay? I don't think that this is appropriate. I don't think this is... They're an open like as in, guys, shut the fuck up. I mean public, okay? I don't mean like literally in an open relationship. I mean public relationship. Out in the open, okay? Out in the open relationship. God damn. Fuck. You know what I mean. Stop being fucking weird. So, that's it. That's the reason. Like, it could have been any name that this person brought up. The answer would still be the same, obviously, because it's not. There's a lot of people that I collaborate with that get like unfairly maligned and unfairly attacked and unjustly persecuted. There's fucking stalkers out there, you know, and they do the same shit as I described here to all of the other people that are involved with me. Okay. Anyone that I have on the stream, they're opening themselves up to this floodgate of fucking hatred. It's completely unacceptable. And especially because they are women, they get attacked even more aggressively. Okay? He plans on settling down eventually, shielding his family from the noise generated by his fame as much as possible. It's definitely something that I want. I would just keep it private. I would keep my child, potentially if I were to have one, offline. The desire to safeguard his inner sanctum makes sense, given how many influencer overlords have Piker in their crosshairs. Maybe his most deranged beef this year was with Ethan Klein, the popular content creator and former co-host of their old joint podcast, Leftovers. The feud started over Gaza. Both call it a genocide, but Klein has called Piker a terrorist sympathizer, and Piker in turn has called Klein racist. This is the most favorable interpretation of Ethan Klein's behavior, for the record, who has both called it a genocide and not called it a genocide, uncalled it a genocide, and spends every waking moment attacking those who have called it a genocide with regular frequency, calling them fucking racist. Anyway, the spat spiraled into online mayhem, sucking everyone in these creators' orbits into a vortex of toxicity. Klein will call you a token Jew after this interview comes out, Piker warns me. I did pay you $7 million to do this interview. Some have accused Klein of having a psychosexual obsession with Piker. He talks about my body and the way I look a lot, Piker says. I don't know why. Maybe it's low-hanging fruit for him. He was always a funny guy. He was never a big looker or anything. It wasn't part of his brand. So I never thought he cared about that sort of thing. But maybe after he lost the weight, his personality changed a bit. I genuinely don't know. Last time I talked to Ethan, he was fat. I mean, he still had his issues, but at least he was seemingly more empathetic. Now, this comes across like I'm fat shaming him, but I was actually sectioning off like fat Ethan as a separate entity than current Ethan, if you know what I mean. Like I wasn't like intentionally, I wasn't like trying to fat shame him. I was just saying like that was in my mind, that is a different person because of who he has become. Some people will say he was always that guy. I certainly was deluded and I was blind. Also, I didn't bring this up. He did, for the record. Like the journalist did. I would not have brought up Ethan Klein on this profile if it were up to me. Anyway, the Klein fight reveals just how insular and incestuous the world of streaming is. These beefs and online personae are the substrate from which Piker, the streamer in person, springs. He texts with AOC sometimes, sure, but his close friends aren't campaign strategists and professional politicians. They're the creators he plays basketball with, like Ludwig, Buddha, and the video game speedrunners like Point Crow, and the influencers. By the way, I didn't say that these are like my best friends or whatever, okay? He asked me who I played basketball with, and I told him the names, like, and then he just wrote it as though we're like constantly fucking hanging out. Like, it's so funny. Point Crow's gonna be like, what the fuck? And the influencers goes podcast, Cutie Cinderella, Will Nev, and Austin show. You could visualize the streaming world as a series of lunch tables or loose clusters of collaborators like the AMP Collective and the FaZe Clan. This world of influencers is its own Hollywood with a distinct cast of A-listers and cult faves. Piker recently attended creator Tara Yummy's birthday party at the Roosevelt Hotel. A weird collision between old and new school celebrity where FaZe Adapt and Jason the Ween sidled up next to Miranda Sings and Love Island contestants. Indie Sleaze documenter Cobra Snake shot the photos. In LA, Piker likes to hang out with the Roomies, a gamer lifestyle streamer house run by people like Valkyrie Fuseli and Tina Kitten. When he's in New York, he socializes with professional media world friends like Adam Friedland and the other cheeky stars of Leftist Pause, Chapo Trap House, and TrueAnon. Piker's thoughts are so frenetic, I can't help but probe him on anyone and everything, like whacking a pinata to see what falls out. He denigrates Asmongold and ContraPoints, praises I Show Speed and Joshua Citarella, says the fact that I watch the surrealist YouTuber JReg means I'm fried. I test him on a scatter spray of media heroes and villains. Curtis Yarvin and Peter Thiel, baby-brained, LARPing as educated people. Even William F. Buckley would make mincemeat of these guys. On one of his 3 desktop computers, he pulls up a long-winded X thread in which Yarvin called billionaires a censored version of the N-word. He didn't actually say the N-word, which is kind of funny, because I thought the point of wanting to kill cancel culture was so you could say the N-word as a white guy. He tells rich people that they're fucking gods, and rich people love hearing that from a guy who's maybe read one Nietzsche book or something. Yeah, I was linking him stuff, IRL. I'm a linker. I mean, I do this literally with my friends where we just fucking sit on the couch and I show them like stupid Instagram memes and shit. You know? Red Scares Dasha Nekrasova and Anna Kachian. I don't think about them at all, but they're annoying and kind of dumb. I don't think they like me too much because I'm progressive and not a shithead. Zoran Mamdani. Big Z's the man. He's great. He's going to implement woke Sharia in New York. Very excited about that. All the buildings have to face Mecca. That kind of good stuff. Drain Gang. I can't believe you told my mom that. One of the main things people criticize Piker for, besides the whole champagne socialist thing, which is overblown, is taking criticism poorly. Piker acknowledges while also criticizing the criticism of how he takes criticism. Still, he seems to realize he's made mistakes in the past. He cites ReactGate, the backlash he faced for putting content on stream while stepping away from the camera for extended periods of time. This is so crazy and so niche to talk about on fucking Gentleman's Quarterly, he says with a chuckle. I did not respond well to that at all. I apologized immediately and said I would never watch the critics' videos again, but then people kept hammering it over and over again, and after a while I was just like, all right, well, fuck these people. Now he only watches YouTube videos from people he knows. As obnoxious as methods are, Piker clearly has genuine convictions. Remember what the web was like back in the 2010s when YouTube was overrun with mini Ben Shapiro's and wrecking blue-haired SJW's compilations? Now there's a cluster of progressive influencers who Piker proudly calls HasanAbi heads. He co-signs Sean the Black, Chris Kunzler, Jam, and overzealots. He's also trying to mentor new establishment dem influencers like Dean Withers and Harry Hasan. I told Dean, well, I don't know why he added Harry Hasan in there. I did talk to Dean Withers in the past, though. I told Dean personally, 1, stop with this liberalism shit. Cut it out. Become more leftist. And 2, try to do things that are not just debate focused, he says. They're not listening to me, so who knows? I think there were more people that I added on there, like Michael from Pennsylvania as well, but I guess they didn't make the cut in print. Some would argue that if the Democrats were smart, they'd go all in on leftist populism and subsidize a Piker-led creator boot camp to help beat back Trump 2.0. But Piker has no faith in liberal politicians. He thinks Kamala Harris, who currently leads in many polls about prospective Democratic presidential candidates, has no shot in 2028. He's not even convinced there will be elections in 2028. I mean, it's moving in that direction pretty hard. All it takes is one big event for Donald Trump, who's been salivating at this, to be like, it's martial law time, Piker says. First, they will take out or erode some of these constitutional protections, whether it be due process, birthright citizenship, and the First Amendment. Then they'll rebuild the legal system to their advantage in a way that suits their white nativist agenda. Once again, the reason why I appreciate this article is because while it ends up humanizing me and showing me in maybe even more vulnerable settings, and reveal certain aspects of my life, like the death threats and the swatting and all this shit, Um, it also simultaneously does a decent job of showcasing my perspective. See, I knew I had a good reason to hate this article. In all seriousness, I didn't like it from the perspective of a boomer who used GQ. It seems like they didn't respect you, violated journalistic norms about background conversations, but it runs down the real work you do. Yeah, I don't care. And I don't think this is written from the point of like not respecting me. I think this is supposed to be irreverent, and therefore the tone of it comes across as a lack of respect. But I have plenty of articles in serious outlets that have been written in ways where it shows a lot of respect, and this is supposed to be fucking. It's GQ. Like the tone of it is supposed to be kind of snarky and kind of silly, and I think it reads very well in that regard, especially because first and foremost, the thing I care about is that they very clearly define my worldview, and it is in good faith. It's not in bad faith at all. Because if this was like a negative tone, if this took a negative tone, crazy that you have 27K viewers, such a left-wing Nazi. No, don't ban that guy. I'm unbanning that guy. That's awesome. The reason why I say this is because like if it was negative, they could have just fucking slammed this chock full of shit like Hasan has said this and that. He loves Hamas. He loves terrorism. All this stuff. It doesn't take that tone or that approach at all. It very clearly shows what I believe in. It very clearly says that I am authentically engaged with the commentary space and the things that I advocate for. It's like, yes, I'm stubborn and hard-headed, but also it doesn't mince. It doesn't like chop up my words or my ideology in any way. So it's ultimately, I think, the tone that people are stuck with, or that one moment where it's like, don't ask me about that sort of thing. I don't talk about that sort of thing. That moment is like, that's typical journalism. It's like, it is what it is. Anyway. I don't know why people say it's bad. I mean, I think it's very good. I like it. Yeah. Dude, look at this. This alone is perfect. First, they will take out or erode some of the constitutional protections, whether it be due process, birthright citizenship, and the First Amendment. Then they'll rebuild the legal system to their advantage in a way that suits their white nativist agenda. That's a direct quote down to my unconditional, uncompromising defense of Palestinian emancipation. Most articles, most serious news outlets that have tremendous amounts of editorial control will not allow stuff like that to be written, okay? Especially when it's a positive profile. If you're giving a positive profile to a person and that person's worldview doesn't match with the agenda of the newspaper, they won't fucking cover it as such. Even the New York Times, when they were writing a positive profile on me in the style section, if you remember, said, Hasan makes a claim that Israel is doing a genocide in air quotes. Do you understand? As he prepares to start up a stream for the day, Piker says, I wonder what this is doing to my brain. This is a gesture at the many vectors of anguish and evil in his life. The always-on work schedule, the paranoia he feels about his private life being overrun, the doxing and the swatting, the volume of vitriol he receives daily from right-wingers demanding that the government arrest me because I'm a terrorist and that Twitch banned me. I wonder to myself if his fitness and diet regimen are attempts to counterbalance the stress he puts on himself. The answer is yes, by the way. That is precisely what keeps me grounded. My family and my loved ones, and also my rigid schedule that I abide by is precisely what keeps me grounded no matter what. That's why I've been able to maintain a positive mental health, positive mental space in spite of being able to do this for 8 fucking hours a day. It's crazy. He said in the past that he eats exactly 1.1 pounds of roasted chicken breast with low-carb pita, mezza, and sauces for lunch every day. Still, he thinks the Make America Healthy Again movement is full of fucking charlatans. Medicare for all, TRT for all, Ozempic for all, HRT for all. That's my argument. Yeah, you're a bot. Thanks, chatter. Thanks, Natural69. You, on the other hand, are not. Piker can't get lost in thought for long. Our interview made him late to start streaming, and his viewers are angsty as fuck. Piker pops us in and attempts to film an Instagram video to announce the stream. Fuck, he roars after the app shuts off midway. He shoots it again, then launches the stream, blitzing through the news. Sydney Sweeney, white supremacy ad. Texas Democrats fleeing to avoid arrest. White women posting Nazi salute selfies on X. A viewer sends him a link that turns out to be a Grindr audio clip. That viewer is Nandre. Fuck you, Nandre. You made it to the goddamn Gentleman's Quarterly article because of your insane... Because of your goddamn fucking sane clip that you sent me. I don't know if I can show this. What is this, Piker mumbles? You are fighting for the people in Gaza who are starving for food. The audio clip begins, but you forgot about me, the need that I have for a cock in my mouth. Piker goes silent for 10 seconds. That'll be it for today. Some things are better left on watch. Soon, I get up and leave. I walk out, and Piker is left alone, rambling at 3 screens. And that's it. That's the article, and they ended it with a beautiful photo of Kaya laying on my lap when I'm on the couch laying down. But yeah, overall, great article. I am very happy with it. I think this is a very positive profile. That's the top story on the front page of GQ right now, by the way. Hell yeah, love that. I think it'll get a lot of looks. These things end up compiling and compounding. Shouts out to Nandre for fucking it up, of course. And now Kaya is a GQ girl. How much does the PR cost you? $0.00. And maybe a decent chunk of my mental health. But that's it. I think some of the stuff people aren't appreciating stuff at the beginning because the GQ audience in particular will receive these characterizations of you in a negative manner. The second half is more substantive. I don't think so. I think I assume a lot of the criticisms that people have is like a comparison between Aiden Ross and Sneeko because people don't understand that in and of itself is not actually an indictment of my politics at all, but simply an indictment in the space and the sphere that I occupy. That's number one, and people misunderstand that. Number two is like the part where I say like I don't talk about those sorts of things when he's just like fueling speculation, right? And he just like added it directly in there. And I guess like what's the other part? Rage Bait Final Boss. Yeah, this says 13,000 likes, by the way. Hasan Piker on Zohran Mamdani. Big Z's the man. He's great. He's going to implement woke Sharia in New York. Very excited about that. All the buildings have to face Mecca. That kind of good stuff. Miranda sings in the article. I don't know why people keep posting about Miranda sings in the article. Was that like a big part of the article? I didn't even see Miranda sings at Terry Yummy's birthday. Yeah. Chatters are too parasocially overprotective of you. I agree. Sorry, I can't hear you. That picture's too loud. But yeah, I mean, I'm a fucking normal dude, okay? And as a normal dude, like these are the things that I do, and they basically mentioned my worldview fairly well. So I'm very happy with it. I think this is like a very humanizing piece. Obviously, it's written in like a cheeky tone because it's written in a cheeky tone. It's not written in like the same professional tone that a lot of you expect because of like all the previous profiles that I've done for like NPR and, you know, ABC, NBC, CNN, or the New York Times. So your like expectation is like it's supposed to be this professional thing where they're like, Piker is hot. But I would rather have someone explain all of this stuff in an irreverent tone while simultaneously doing a decent job of conveying my worldview. Okay? That's it. And I think they did a great job with that. The author is obviously a very good writer, for the record. He's a Pitchfork writer as well, I think. He's a very good writer. He's young. He did the classic like journalist thing where you just ask like a gotcha thing, and that's it. He made news out of the way he dealt with that situation. Is this a USA only issue, or will I be able to buy it in Italy? Sometimes I think they like will repost it, but I don't know. The writer is the son of Simon Reynolds, who was good friends with the Mark Fisher. Wait, really? It starts off with a smut tone. The cheeky tone is only the second part. Due to the glaze regarding your physical appearance, I think you're overlooking how negatively this article frames you in a mainstream audience, that you're ranting, slurping on drink, and casually yelling that America... No, you guys are being over the... Dog, it's a GQ article. Shut the fuck up. You're being overly protective over a 34-year-old man who has a decent understanding of how the fucking media works. Okay? You're literally... You're wrong. It's a GQ article, okay? Like, do you guys think that that was a hit piece? If you think that there's a hit piece, you are literally lost in the sauce. Let's be real. Please stop infantilizing me. Bro, would I only go to GQ specifically for accurate profiles of people so I can base my entire judgment on them on it? Yeah. It's so funny. It's so funny that guys are looking at this and being like, this is a hit piece. Meanwhile, the head of the Apartheid Defense League, okay, the always defaming league, Jonathan Greenblatt, is on CNN being like, Hasan is a fucking terrorist and an anti-Semitic one. And also he's like, he wants Jews to be violently killed on the streets. Like, that's what he's saying on prominent news outlets. And you guys think this article, which I think does a great job of conveying my worldview, okay, in a somewhat irreverent tone, it has any sort of like negativity associated with it. Okay, calm down. No, it's not that I think it hurt your feelings, but definitely does not paint a positive view of the general public as someone who should be listened to about politics. You're wrong about that. People don't like that the articles suffer of terminal that friend does too woke syndrome. Yeah. Only this community will see their favorite streamer get a major magazine article and go, actually, no, this sucks. You shouldn't like this and be happy. I know. But they're wrong. And I think that there's no reason to even go back and forth on whether or not this is negative framing, especially considering that my fucking idiotic, drama-laden haters are probably going to do that over and over again. And the same dumb fucks in this chat that were like, oh, well, I told you this was bad, will then relitigate those fucking idiotic, cynical criticisms because they're fucking jealous. Let's be real. And they will bring that back over here to be like, see, I told you. See, Asmongold said this article sucks. Well, Asmongold doesn't know how to fucking read. Why do you care about what his perspective is? You know? There's already plenty of fucking relatively sizable communities that literally make it a pivotal part of their content to just like consistently undermine every single thing that I do. I am an experienced media personality. I have an understanding of how these things work. This is literally my professional job. And I'm telling you, my assessment of this is that this is a very good, very humanizing piece, especially considering that it shows the full scope, okay? It shows that I'm brash. It shows that I can be edgy, but it also does not hide that I am a progressive figure who is genuine, who believes in the things that I speak out on, and I'm hard-headed and stubborn. You know? Actually, that chatter is right to be angry about the article. I will subpoena the publication in order to obtain the remainder of the photographs. That's funny. Yeah, I don't see it. This reads like every GQ article ever. It's supposed to have a laid back, unserious tone. Exactly. Brother, the same journalist who wrote this article, did the interview with Adam Friedland. And in the Adam Friedland interview, he got Adam to talk about how he shit his pants one time. Okay? This is, GQ is men's Cosmo. As you can probably tell from these photos. Yeah. This is not like, remember, just as you wouldn't show my Bradley Martin podcast interview to your 68-year-old grandparents, you're not supposed to show this to your 68-year-old grandparents. You're supposed to show the fucking style section, the New York Times piece to them. You know what I mean? Every magazine and every media outlet serves a different purpose and serves a different audience. Okay? GQ is for the young professionals that still read shit in print. Okay? It's for the young professionals. And for that crowd, I think the tone of this article and everything else it does is perfect. Same journalist wrote this article 4 years ago. Interesting to see the difference in presentation. Oh my God, this guy wrote the article. Leftist streamer Hasan Piker faced criticism for buying a $2.7 million home, but Gen Z's favorite pundit says he's determined to change the right's narrative about progressives. He wrote this 4 years ago for Business Insider. That's crazy. I didn't even realize. I mean, he told me that he wrote about me before, but I didn't know it was this article. Most parasocialist chatters get mad at Lifestyle Magazine article doing Lifestyle Magazine stuff. Exactly. Sam Piker spends 8 hours a day in a swivel chair every day dissecting issues like climate crisis. Okay, wait, hold on. I got to pee real quick. I'll be back in a second. But here, we'll start off with this in the time
streets
period.
of the nation's capital, part of President Trump's attempt to reel in crime in Washington, D.C., which he claims is spiraling out of control.
Good luck to you. Godspeed.
The first of 800 troops arriving in Hummers and dressed in combat camo posted along the National Mall Tuesday, with tourists and children strolling past.
This is a bit startling.
The Army says the National Guard troops will support local law enforcement and that some have been directed to maintain a presence at national monuments. But that's an area of the nation's capital where crime has been generally low. City officials say the troops will be unarmed, but an Army official said they will have access to their weapons just stored elsewhere nearby. The Guard deployment comes the day after President Trump declared a temporary federal takeover of the D.C. Police Department, a move D.C.'s mayor called an authoritarian push and an intrusion of the district's autonomy. Attorney General Pam Bondi, who President Trump says is now in charge of the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department, met with Mayor Muriel Bowser.
What I'm focused on is the federal surge and how to make the most of the additional officer support that we have.
Crime in the district has been trending downward. Violent crime down 26% from last year, and the homicide rate down 11%. President Trump is also vowing to clean up.
So topical, my sibling bought your merch at Goodwill this February, liking the design, looked you up and found all the content, new stuff, and thought you were anti-Semitic and was going to remove your design until today, laundry day, when I saw it and I asked why they have Hasan merch. That's so funny. What a fucking trajectory. What a trajectory. Were you really naked in the tub? Yep. That's right. The video's loud. Oh, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I had to go and piss real quick. Okay, so this guy who wrote that article wrote this article as well, but that was in 2021. Let's take a look at the tone, especially considering this is for Business Insider, okay, to develop a better understanding of how certain outlets have different tones for the same exact kind of coverage, same exact style of coverage. Okay, this is not a profile piece necessarily, but it's instead covering like online culture and drama, right? Hasan Piker spends 8 hours in a swivel chair every day, dissecting issues like the climate crisis and wealth disparity and advocating for Medicare for all, LGBTQ rights, gun control, alternatives to capitalism, and other progressive policy reform ideas. Piker's monologues, full of unrestrained bouts of laughter, references to inane facets of internet culture, and the latest political news, have attracted 1.5 million followers on Twitch. The live stream platform known for its popularity among gamers. In 3 years, the 30-year-old leftist pundit has vaulted from working as a miniseries host on a liberal talk show to having a devoted fan base of politically aware teens and 20-somethings across the internet, where he is known as HasanAbi. He's also helping revolutionize left-wing political punditry in the process. I think all I'm doing is helping people recognize why they feel angry, jaded, why they feel like they have a shittier hand dealt to them than the prior generation, Piker, an ardent critic of former President Donald Trump, told Insider in a recent interview. Parker is extremely online, like countless internet stars and celebrities, and his personal life is heavily scrutinized by fans and critics. This month, he faced backlash for spending nearly $3 million on a house in West Hollywood, California, while pushing socialist politics. Piker supported Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont in both 2016 and 2020 U.S. Democratic primaries. In response to controversy on Twitter, Piker said he'd donate some of his money. While he didn't specify charitable donations, Piker has donated to Sanders on 5 occasions, totaling $27.70, according to the Open Seizures database, which tracks political donations. Piker added that his critics misunderstood what socialism is. In the button-up world of traditional politics, the House debacle could have easily spiraled into scandal, but for the internet star, the controversy has just brought him back into the spotlight. It's so funny how, like, the media landscape is so different, for the record. How the media landscape is so different if you are a leftist, whether you are a leftist politician or even a leftist political commentator. What is really, really, really interesting about this is that on the right, you have like straight up fucking rapists that don't get canceled for being serial rapists. On the left, you buy a house. You are fortunate enough to be able to purchase a home for yourself and your family. And people go, that sucks. That's the gravest mistake you could have ever done. Like, think about how unbalanced this fucking, the playing field is for those on the left. And you still see it to this day. Zoran is getting hit with, why does he have an affordable rental property? Like, why does he rent? Why does he rent affordably? Someone who is much poorer should be in that house. It's fucking crazy, man. It's crazy. Yes, $2,300 for one bedroom in New York City is affordable. I know it's fucking nuts to even say that. It is literally affordable for New York. I believe me when I tell you this, okay? For LA, for New York, that is an affordable piece of fucking apartment. Piker has a distinctly young audience. In October, Piker helped organize a stream of Video Game Among Us with U.S. Reps AOC and Ilhan Omar, which became the third most viewed Twitch broadcast ever, according to CNET, and reeled in over 400,000 concurrent viewers, according to the data analytics website Streamlabs. His stream on election night in November, which lasted 16 hours, had 225,000 concurrent viewers at its peak, was the 6th most watched election stream on the internet, behind only major news networks, according to Streamlabs. You're constantly on, Piker told Insider, of how his platform of choice helped him connect with viewers. Twitch is basically AM broadcast radio for Zoomers, rather than what Rush Limbaugh was doing to our grandparents, he added. Andrew Kolb, a media history and critical theory professor at California Institute of Arts, told Insider that Piker brings a different style of politics that is particularly appealing to Gen Z. According to YouTube data provided by Piker Stream, over 35% of his 750,000 YouTube subscribers are 24 years or younger. Nearly 70% of his platform are under 30, the data showed. Armed with memes and an irreverence to authority, he uses tools like youth culture, Culp said. Younger viewers are hungry for voices like Piker's, Culp added, that were long shut out of the media. A lawsuit over cartoons sparked Piker's political passions. Piker, the son of two academics, was born in New Brunswick, New Jersey, but grew up in Istanbul. He said a major moment in his political awakening came when he was a teenager in 2004, when Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Turkey's prime minister at the time, successfully sued the Turkish cartoonist Musa Kart for portraying him as a cat with strands of yarn draped across a feline frame. Political cartoons were really important in that side of the world, Piker said, adding that the incident seemed like a silly entry point into politics for him now, but felt profound at the time. Piker said that he was always fascinated by American culture as a child and jokingly calls himself an Ameribu, a term he says he invented as a play on Weibo, a derogatory term for a Western person obsessed with Japanese culture. He particularly liked watching Entourage, a bro-centric TV show about Hollywood. He said it fueled his dreams of living in Los Angeles, where he now resides. I was paying 20 grand to this fucking author, even back in 2021, you know? This is also a pretty solid profile. This dude has written 2 solid profiles on me at this point. My first ever TikTok, not my first ever, but one of my first ever TikToks. Anyway, it's so much of this is just stuff that I still repeat to this day. Parker's known for his takedown style videos. 0% win rate. L Queen, she said. She keeps taking L's over and over again. Taking L's means losing repeatedly. At different points in the video, Piker says people dumpstered, a slang term for obliterated, Bennett. Piker's style is reminiscent of popular right-wing internet personalities like Steven Crowder, who split up discussions about culture and politics with segments in which they mock people they don't like. Casual demeanor sets them apart. Watching Piker refer to clips and develop rebuttals in real time feels more like hanging with a friend than listening to a practiced political pundit. While his arguments are sharp, he has a frantic, spontaneous broadcast style and constantly bursts into snickers. Still, a serious undercurrent always runs beneath the silliness, as he often offers analyses that contextualize today's news with historical events. While most pundits cross the board, from Carlson to left-wing entertainers like Trevor Noah and John Oliver, read from scripts and often don a suit and tie, Piker wears whatever he wants and chills in his house. I don't even see myself as a brand per se, he said. I'm just a dude. I'm just a guy who likes to have fun and talk shit. Yeah. This was in 2021 when the same guy wrote this article for Business Insider. Anyway, yeah, that's it. That's a pretty decent piece. Both articles are very fair in their assessment, and it's kind of funny that you can just like track my not my change in attitude, or rather a lack thereof, a no change in my commentary and my worldview since 2021, but I guess a change in style and a change in my living quarters, which is interesting because that article was written when I first bought the house, before I even moved in to the house. You wearing shorts here? No, my penis is out there on this. Okay? My dick's out. Okay? Stop trying to remove the bubbles with your mind, or try to get the AI to remove the bubbles. Okay? Don't fucking do it. Anyway, why are we still talking about the magazine? What do you mean? It's a major thing, dude. What are you talking about? I got profiled in GQ. That's a huge, this big deal for me. It's going to be an even bigger deal for my haters. Like, let me have something, dude. Can I have something? Can I have something in all this fucking endless sequence of awfulness around the world? Can we have something, chat? Or no? In the same month, they put me and Travis Kelce, two big boys, in the water, took a bunch of photos, and slapped it into the same goddamn magazine. I'm going to take it. Why are all your haters so fixated on the bathtub pose? I mean, why do you think? I think HasanAbi haters, and everyone is a hater who disagrees. Classic. It's too bright, you dumb fuck. Wait, what? I'm confused by what your argument is. But what I was going to say is, like, the HasanAbi lovers and haters alike focus on, like, sometimes they have unhealthy sexual feelings about me, I think. And I would go so far as to say that the haters actually represent that more than the fucking lovers do, if we're being real. My wife accused me of being attracted to you? That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I would go so far as to say that, yes, my haters are more unhealthily sexually obsessed with what's going on in my world than my fans are. All right. We're moving on now. We're getting back to the catastrophic world